Hey guys, this is Al. It's not quite the weekend, but I'm over here. It's late afternoon, early evening, over at the shop. I thought I'd come by and drop some parts off. We're going to get going on the Euro 500 SL. So I bought new brake discs. I already have the pads. I bought control arms, and I bought sway bar bushings. All right. So first thing I'm going to start with is the rear brakes. So basically the process to remove the pads is you drive these two pins out, then you remove this retaining clip, and then you can pop the pads out. All right, so we've got the little tie rod removal tool on it. This came as a part of a front end kit. It's a nice tool. It's forged steel, and what it does is it just presses on the tie rod. You can also use it on ball joints and other stuff, and pops them out. It's better than a pickle fork or hitting it with a hammer, but you can do it that way if you wanted to. So what you want to do is you want to loosen the nut, so that if you have any trouble or anything else like that, you don't end up damaging the threads in the tie rod itself. So you loosen the nut, push it all the way back out, but keep it threaded, and use this to press on the nut itself instead of directly on the threads. I'm just going to use this impact driver. It's got a 1-inch socket on it, and that should do the job. And there you go. So that popped it. So the other side, I did hand cranked it. Took a lot longer. So the inside I'll do by hand because it's kind of tough to get an impact wrench on it. But it should be. And there you go. So that's pretty much it. I'll just undo this. There you go. And that comes out. So it's just like that. I'm just putting the other one on. We just basically size it to the same size as this, put it on, tighten it down again, just like I showed you. Alright guys, so replace the sway bar bushings right here, and then these pieces as well. So that's kind of tricky, right, because you kind of, on one end you can get a socket in behind, through the box section, but on this side you can't. So you have to use a wrench. It just takes a little bit longer, and with the bushes being stiff and everything else like that, it's kind of hard to adjust. but apart from that, it wasn't too bad a job. So now I'm putting the wheels on and probably take it to a car wash so I can wash the engine, wash all this transmission fluid out. I also bled the rear brakes. I may change those calipers because they're not in great shape, but I'll do that another day. Alright guys, so it's all back together again. I took it to the car wash and gave it a nice clean. So it looks a little bit cleaner than it did beforehand. I think these wheels look absolutely amazing on this car. I'm probably going to take them back off and wrap the car again so that I can redo the calipers. I'm not happy with the calipers. And I'll also bleed the brakes. I also cleaned the underside, the engine bay a little bit, not major, but just a little bit to help get rid of some of that oil that's on there, built up power steering fluid. Yeah, so the only issue that I ran up against is when I started the car again, it would barely run, it would barely idle. And I had to richen the mixture in order to make it run anyway half decently, and it still wasn't good enough. Now the car ran perfectly before I changed the fuel pump. Now it doesn't want to run, so unless I richen the mixture. So what I think is going on is I think I have a massive vacuum leak, and you know, it's got really high idle, so that would make sense. So I've got to put it on the smoke machine next, figure out what's wrong with it. That's really it, and thank you very much for watching, and we'll give you an update next week hopefully. All right, thanks very much, take care, bye bye.